Welcome to another episode of Dad Can We Talk? I am your host, Anthony Ray, and this is episode 150 of Dad Can We Talk? I know y'all might be thinking, you looking a little different today. Yeah, I got my four eyes on today, baby. This is my first time. I went to the eye doctor a few weeks ago for the first time ever. They gave me a light prescription. So when y'all see me on here now, this is my new look. So this ain't just fashion or anything. This is me. So just had to put that out there for y'all. But I just got to give y'all this, of course, like always. Go to YouTube, type in Dad Can We Talk, subscribe. 9 subscribers at the moment. Man, I'm trying to get up to 1,000. Within the last 3 months, we went up I think we went up about 300 subscribers. So y'all been doing your thing, man. So I really appreciate that. But need y'all to continue doing it, continue encouraging others, continue sharing the podcast uh, with friends, with family, with people that you think would benefit from it. And I just appreciate all my listeners, all my supporters out there. Y'all been supporting me since day one. So it's a lot of people, man, that really show love, and I appreciate that. Big shout out to Gainesville Podcast Studio, where we are posted up today. Of course, they have been showing so much love. They allow us to come into their space and use their services. And if you are interested in starting a podcast, if you have an idea about one, you need some video editing, you need some audio editing, you have some ideas about whatever, you just trying to get into it, come to Gainesville Podcast Studio and holler at my people over here and get locked in. I promise they will help you in so many ways that you probably don't even understand right now. So come holler at them, Gainesville Podcast Studio off of 6th Street. One more shout out before I get into this episode. I want to give a shout out to my guy Malcolm and Ashley Askew with Support Black GMV. Y'all go to their website at supportblackgnv.com, and that's supportblkgnv.com. They are the black hub for everything in the black culture in Gainesville, businesses, black creators, all of that. Go check them out at supportblackgnv.com. And without further ado, man, we are, like I said, we are at episode 150. And this woman that I'm sitting with today, she reached out to me a few weeks back, and she was just saying, she was very interested in coming on. And I was like, let's do it, because she's now the the fourth woman to come bless the podcast this year. So I am very excited about this one, and I'm ready to hear her story. Y'all know I love to sit with women and get their perspective on things. I think we don't do that enough. Society right now tries to put us against each other. Men and women, and I just I don't believe in that. Of course, this podcast was created for men, by dads, for dads. But I never wanted to make this a thing where it's men against women, because I do believe that women add a lot of value to what we do. And I've had a lot of women supporters since day one, like for real. Some of my biggest supporters have been women from day one. So I'm always appreciative of the women out there. So without further ado, man, y'all, welcome to the Dad Can We Talk community. My woman, Means Wiggins. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm not a dad, but I
Yeah.
appreciate you opening up the opportunity for me to come on your podcast.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get to it. So we're gonna start it the way we always start. First question is always the same. What was your relationship like with your dad?
Well, I had the best dad in the world.
Okay.
That's what I thought. My mother died when I was 2 years old,
Wow.
so I had my dad. And
Mm,
he always would say, I'm your mom and your dad.
mm,
And he let me have my way, and I got whatever I wanted. Um, and so, I was spoiled. I was the
mm.
youngest of about 11 children.
Sheesh.
Yep, so I'm the youngest, and me and my dad, we just always had a very close relationship because he didn't allow anyone to, spank me. I got the spankings, but they got it when he got home from work.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So you one of the babies.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh. So you making me think about my baby right now because she played the role. She
Uh-huh.
playing the role right
Uh-huh.
now. So you played the role.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One thing about it, y'all gonna play the
That's
role.
right. Us babies, we get our way with the dads.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, with you having all of these different siblings, were they mostly boys, girls, or a mixture, good mixture?
Mostly girls.
Mm,
We had mostly girls. We had two boys.
wow.
Um, and so yeah, mostly girls though. And my brother, he was just above me.
Mm,
And so by him being the only one in the house as I was being raised, the two of us, he kind of got privileges that I was jealous about. And they done that because he was the only boy. But I'm
yeah.
like, I'm the baby. So, we had that sibling rivalry going on.
Oh
Yeah.
man. So I want to kind of talk about that
Uh-huh.
real quick because
Uh-huh.
so my two youngest, my son, he's in the middle. I got two girls and a boy. My son is in the middle.
Okay.
And my son and my youngest daughter are about 11 months apart.
Oh.
And so when I tell you that sibling rivalry has been on
Uh-huh.
fire
Uh-huh.
for,
Yeah.
for these, what, they're both right now 9. My,
Oh
my
my
youngest just
God.
turned 9 2 weeks ago. So we're about a week ago. So I currently have two 9-year-olds in the
Yeah.
house.
Almost
So
twins.
almost twins. And so for the 9 years that these jokers have been on this life, oh man, on this earth together, man, I'm like, I ain't understanding this, man. Y'all at some point,
All
y'all
right.
got to stop this here,
Okay.
so what advice would you give me on dealing with that? Because um it's been tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has been tough dealing with that. And I'm just like, well, y'all jokers gonna make me do something to y'all. I'm gonna do something to you.
Well, I can imagine, because again, they're like twins. My
Mm,
brother and I, we're like 5 years apart. So,
mm,
the main thing we argued about is dad. I
mm,
would say I'm dad's favorite. He would say,
yeah.
no, he's dad's favorite. And so we would both try to get to dad and see who's the favorite. Because dad would tell him he's the favorite and he would tell me I'm the favorite. Just whatever we want to hear to please us, right?
Yeah.
So we would, yeah, go on about that mostly. So not too much pushing and shoving and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
wrestling.
Oh
Yeah, not,
God.
yeah, but
Oh Lord. Ooh. They are something serious with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something serious.
Right.
So how, with that relationship with your dad, with him
Uh-huh.
being the greatest in the world to
Right.
you,
Uh-huh.
how would you say that shaped you as you grew into, a young woman?
Well, the bar has always been high because I, always felt that pretty much I should get what I want.
Mm,
So as you grow older, you have to understand that that's not always reality.
mm,
Um, but it gave me a level of confidence that um, I'm good enough and I can do whatever I want to do and I can make my own decisions and I'm good. I'm okay. My dad thought I was the best person in the world, so I must be. So yeah, kind of helped me with my confidence. I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. You know, so my oldest, she's 12 and about to be 13 next
Mm-hmm.
in April.
Teenager.
So I'm coming up upon, the teenage
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
and I've been a little shaky about it, like, man, I've been having trouble with it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I'm having trouble, especially not outside the house.
Right.
She's good,
Right.
straight A student. She's
Good.
perfect. She's good. It's just at home sometimes, just dealing with her mouth
Oh yeah. Oh
at
yeah.
times.
Oh yeah.
She's starting to get this little attitude,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know who you be thinking.
Okay.
And I love my baby so much,
Right.
but
Right.
that's been tough. What should I be expecting right
Oh
now?
my goodness. Well, you should be expecting. Just know that is normal. She's at that age, and I guess being a girl, we kind of tend to flip off a little bit more than boys.
Mm.
I think just continue to redirect and continue to say, hey, you need to calm down,
Mm.
Oh, you know who's in charge. So we just have to continue to let them know that we are there. We do hear them.
Mm.
One thing about as I was growing up, I had older siblings, and my oldest sister who was at home, she was like mom, and she was no nonsense.
Mm.
So we didn't really get to express ourselves like I think we should have, and I think it's good for children. I think it's healthy for them. Um, she was like, whatever I say goes, Now, of course, when I tell dad and when I get home, it's a different story, but he wasn't home all day. So, but I think it's very important. Your daughter, she's at that age, she want to be heard, and yeah. So just like I just said, you and her mom, I'm sure, but she's gonna feel like, okay, I'm important. I'm being heard. I'm being seen at home. I don't have to get, this attention outside per se because I'm getting it at home. So yeah, I think just continue to redirect.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And that's
Yeah.
something I know I got to do better on,
Yeah.
and that's something that we teach a lot in the fatherhood program that I work for, about, especially when it comes to communicating,
Right.
letting them know, honoring what they want, honoring them and hearing them, and letting
Yep.
them know that, even though we might not still do what you ask,
Exactly.
but I hear you.
Exactly.
You're asking for this one thing right now, and I might say, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, and I understand that you want
Right.
this. I understand why you might
Mm-hmm.
want it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want it right now, but right now we're just not gonna do that.
Right.
But we'll get it 2 weeks.
Mhm.
We might get it on your birthday or
Yeah.
Christmas,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a very good
Right.
point.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
And
And
working
that's
on it.
kind of, it's gonna make her know that her voice is important. Her decisions. She's developing into this young lady, and she's gonna have to make some decisions. And even like you just said, you may not honor her request right now or whatever. That's okay too. That's still a learning point. So yeah, you may not get what you want when you want it, and that's okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. What would you say is the greatest lesson that you've learned from your dad?
To not worry about what people say. As a child, I was extremely paratold, and I probably still am. And I mean, all the children picked at me, and I wanted my dad. Somebody had told me that you can have your leg like kind of broken and they could put the bone straight. And so I really wanted that. I'm serious. I wanted that. And my dad was like, there's nothing wrong with the way you walk. They just and as I got older, I learned that, it's okay. It's, so, confidence and just learning, hey, I love me and I'm okay just the way I am. So, yeah.
That's good. Man, shout out to dad. Shout out to you, dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Thank
dad.
you.
Shout out to that.
Yeah.
What would you say that you missed from your mom, with, like you saying your mom passed when
Right.
you were 2. What are some of the things that you feel like you missed from not having that motherly love and nurturing and comfort?
Right. That's a real good question. I've asked myself that, and strangely enough, it's like, now this, sounds crazy probably, but I've told myself, you can't really miss what I don't know how it feel to have a mother.
Mm,
However, I had older siblings, and I just told you, my older sibling at home, she was really mother.
mm,
I mean, she made sure that dinner was cooked, the house was clean, our hair was combed.
mm,
Um, I don't know. Now, I will say, growing up, sometimes I would think, oh, if mother was here, you know, if I had a mother, I would feel
mm,
sad. Even my graduation, high school graduation, I
mm,
thought, oh, mother would be so proud of me. And I tell you what else, though, a lots of my life decisions really have been, what would mother think? And yeah,
mm,
so that's real. And I knew, or I felt that that was kind of strange, because it's like, mother been gone so many years. You were 2 years old. Now you're,
mm.
18, 20. Um, yeah. So even as I was getting married, I thought, what would mother think? So
Mm.
yeah, I did live a lot of my life thinking about what mother would think. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
That's
wild,
true.
man. Cause I see it, my mom, she
Uh-huh.
lost her mom when she was 5.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like, when she had now she has her 3 boys and
All right.
she don't play.
Okay.
She don't play, and I feel like she always had this pride of like, I'm gonna be there. She will always tell us, boy, you don't know what it's like to not have your mama.
Uh-huh.
You
Uh-huh.
while I'm here, you better appreciate me because you
Yeah.
don't know what it's like to not have your mama.
All right.
And every time she said, I'd be like,
Right. Right.
touche. I
Uh-huh.
get, I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even imagine.
Right. Right. Right.
And so,
Yeah.
uh,
So let me say this. I would say, and I have to thank God for this. We were really blessed, although there was a lots of us. Again, I could shout out to my dad. He was right there, and some of the family wanted to take some of the children off of his hand, and he said, "No, I'm
mm,
gonna keep all my children together." And he said, "If we eat dirt, we'll all eat it together." So
believe,
we grew up, very close, and
mm,
didn't really have to go to, like maybe the foster home or anybody else's
mm,
home. We just stayed right there together, and
mm,
so yeah. So I didn't see it so, like, hard, right?
mm,
And really, to be honest with you, I didn't realize we were poor until I was
mm.
an adult. And now I think, oh, God, on one income with all these children, but we had food and we had, clothes and everything. But
Mm,
just imagine, you
mhm.
know, and of course, the income wasn't like it is now, and it's still way low for most Americans. But yeah, we were
Mm,
poor, and I didn't know it because we had so much love.
mm.
Yeah.
I can really attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
When you growing up like that,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't thinking about that stuff,
Right.
especially as a
Right.
kid, and you got
Right.
your siblings, and
Right.
you're going outside, you're playing,
Uh-huh.
and you really
Right.
don't think about that. It's like as long as we
Exactly.
got something in the house to eat, we're gonna eat.
Exactly. Yep.
We gonna
Yep.
eat a little
Yep.
something, and we're gonna go to sleep, and we're gonna wake up, and we're gonna do it again.
Uh-huh. Right. Right.
And
Right.
when you're growing up around that type of love, and you're around people that make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
really don't
Mm-hmm.
think about that type of
You
stuff
don't think about it.
until, like you say, as an
Mm-hmm.
adult,
As an adult.
you
Yeah.
like, dang, boy, we got
Mm-hmm.
through some hard times.
Okay,
You know,
really.
especially once you have your own kids and you like,
Exactly.
boy, I don't know how my mama and daddy did
Exactly. Right. Right.
it.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's important as parents to even know in this time, you know, raise your kids in a house full of love,
Exactly.
regardless of your situation,
Most important. That's right. Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
right now these kids ain't really thinking about that stuff unless you make
Right.
it known, you
Right.
know, you just
Exactly. So we don't really have to go into debt for Christmas and all this here about all this stuff. We don't have to do
You
that.
don't have to.
And the main thing is make sure that they have love and they got what they need. Now I'm not saying don't, get them something, celebrate
Yeah.
in the way you want to or the way you can afford is what I
Yeah,
would really
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to tell my mama for years. Man, ma, them kids don't be caring about half of that stuff. I mean, they want what they want, but half of the things that they get, they use it for 2 weeks,
Exactly.
and then I be telling them, you better get this stuff off this floor
Off
before
the
I throw it in the
floor.
trash.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
y'all act like you don't even want it.
Uh-huh.
And they go like,
Right.
well, we just got all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So they don't really care so much. They, as long as they got probably one thing that they really want,
Mm-hmm.
all the rest of the stuff, it don't really, and that's not the stuff that you remember most times.
Exactly. That's true.
I tell guys right now, guys that's a part of our program, as a dad, our most important job is to make sure that we're spending time with our kids, because that's the type of stuff that your children will never forget.
That's
The times you
exactly
read
right.
books to them, the times you sit at the dinner table with them, the times where you go to the beach with them, the times when you're at the extracurricular activities, the time you go on field trips with them. That stuff they'll never forget.
That is so true.
I didn't grow up with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember everything. The little times that I did spend with him, I can tell
Exactly.
you all. I can run them all off on my head because I
That's
never
right.
forgot those things.
Exactly
I
right.
remember the stuff that you bought for me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, you bought a little
Mm-hmm.
something. Get that stuff all the time.
Exactly.
But the times that you spend with me, that's what I always remember.
Oh, that's so important. It's so important. And actually, I work with a program. We work with single moms and children, young children. And that's one of the things that we really try to encourage, parents or moms to, allow dad in the children's lives, if possible. If there's no, abuse, of course. But it's just so important for dads to be present and spend time. And like you say, not just drop off a gift or buy a gift, but actually spend quality time. So, yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
So speak to the dads out there.
Uh-huh.
Your time is so much more valuable than any present that you could ever buy. I promise
So
you
true.
that. I promise you. As a child that grew up without an active dad in the house, I can assure you that your time and your presence will always be greater than anything that you can ever buy for them. Ever.
So true.
And like they say, most people on their deathbed, they don't say stuff like, I wish I would have bought this and bought that. They think about all the times that they could have spent with the people that they love.
Yep.
And that's so important. So I'm glad you made that point. That's a very, very great thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to say again, shout out to your dad. Because it sounded like he was a great man.
He was.
Sound like it. What would you say? How would you say that we can work better together as moms and dads today? Like I say right now, there's a lot that goes around about kind of pitting men against women, and moms do this, but daddies don't do this, and daddies do this, and moms don't do this. And I'm like, man, we need to be coming together and figure out how we can be better together. Like, what would you say, if you could give any advice to a young mom or young dad today on working together?
Right. And so, I come from a Christian point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe that it's God's will that we have harmony and peace. And my thing is, if we have children in common, we didn't get them by ourselves. It did take
Sure
two.
no.
And so we need to be always try to be open,
Mm,
um, be that person who will listen, compromise.
mm,
Um, Sometimes I know we have these negative connotations about, men and women.
mhm,
Um, but my mindset is always stay on the positive because all men are not bad, all women
mhm,
are not bad. So I think when we come to a relationship with those kind of ideas, then we already pretty much kind of close the door.
mhm,
So I think we need to be open and just know that our children need both parents,
mhm,
if possible. Yeah.
mhm.
So I would just say, continue to try to talk. Um, and it may take some compromise, and that's fine. And yeah, just know the importance of it because it really is important.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. How many children do you have
I have two
currently right now? So
children.
you have two children,
You
boy,
say
girl.
currently, that's all I
You go,
have. At
you
this age,
at
trust
this
and
age, she
believe.
say she.
So I have two children. Let's see, my daughter is what, 44? And my son is 34. So
Oh, you deep in
yeah.
the game.
Yep, yep,
You
yep,
deep in the
yep,
game.
yep.
So you coming with the real wisdom. You
uh,
done been out in these streets, these
yeah.
parenting streets for a
Uh-huh.
long
For a
time.
long time.
So within your 44 years,
Uh-huh.
wow,
Right.
in your 44 years of parenting,
Right.
what has been what has been your greatest challenge
Greatest challenge.
in your 44 years of
Right.
parenting?
Uh, I would probably say I had to learn to let go,
Mm.
and I had this dream that we would have this great big house, and we would another part on to the house, and
Mhm.
my daughter and her family would stay in that part, and my husband and I, we'll stay in the front part and all this. Anyways, letting go because my
Mhm.
daughter, she told, well, when she was about 18, well, she was going off to college, and she said she was not going to be moving back home. And I was
Mhm.
telling her how I wanted her to stay and we can add on. And she said, that's never going to happen. She said, Mom, if that happened, it'll be because I'm disabled. I said, oh my God, I don't want that. So, anyways, one of my friends told me, say, your problem is you need to grow up. I say, what? I need to grow up? Yeah, you need to grow up and let them. So I guess that's been the biggest challenge.
Mm.
Thank God my children they haven't really been hard to raise. So,
Mm.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
And I can see that. I
yeah,
can see how
yeah,
that could be tough.
yeah, yeah.
Just because we love these babies so
Yeah,
much,
and you
like.
become an empty nester. It's like, what? But you grow into it because now, hey, I love it.
Yeah, shoot, I be thinking the same stuff.
Uh
Like,
huh.
boy, shoot,
Uh huh.
if I can,
Uh huh.
I
Yeah.
create a little saying, where we can,
Right.
we can live together,
Uh huh.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
but I know they
Right.
one
Right.
day they gonna
Exactly.
want to get
They're
on
gonna
up out of
poop the
there and get from
nest.
up under my
Uh huh.
rulership.
Right.
I
Exactly.
tell them all the time, one day you gonna have your own stuff, then you can say what you want to say.
That's right.
So I
Yeah.
know that's probably not gonna be something, but I
Right.
like that. I
Uh
like
huh.
that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What has been your greatest joy in these 44 years?
Greatest joy. Oh, probably. I guess I would say my granddaughter. Yeah.
Ooh.
Um. Yeah. My daughter was what, 39 when she had my granddaughter. So that's the first and only grandchild that we have.
Mm.
And so, yeah, we're very happy to have her as part of the
Mm.
family.
And so, are you one of those grandparents? Because I say it all the time. Boy, my mama used to be on my behind. But with these grandbabies, it's like they ain't getting the same Mima I
I
had.
know.
You know,
Yeah,
you used to be on my behind.
I know.
You'll tear me up quick. You know, and now it's with them.
I
She'll
know.
get on them, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's a little,
Right,
it
right, right.
ain't as to
Oh,
the.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I tell my kids all the time, y'all think Mima be mean now. I say, man, Mima too
Exactly.
nice right
Thank
now.
you.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
boy, Mima used to,
Uh-huh.
I would
Uh-huh.
not have had an opportunity to say a
Exactly.
thing.
That's right.
You know, and so are you one of those
Well,
grandparents?
well, in that perspective, I would say yes. Because my daughter, when I used to take her to the doctor's office or whatever, she's sitting like the two of us, and she would sit there and she would, if they had a television or whatever, she would watch that. And people would say, how do you get her to sit and behave so well? Because I didn't play. But when it comes to my granddaughter, not so much. She's up moving around and looking, and she got us look at the books and this and that. So yeah, much more
Yeah.
relaxed.
Oh man. But my mom did tell me one time, she
Uh-huh.
said, that she's learned
Right.
from them,
Oh yeah.
because I'm like, the 1 year you didn't let me go to the fair
Uh-huh.
because my report card was bad.
Oh yeah.
And she said, but I think back on that, I probably should have never did that. Like, I wish you would have came to that realization back then.
But it probably helped you,
Yeah,
because
it
you knew
did.
not
It
to
did.
have that report card looking
Yeah.
crazy the next year.
I sure enough
Right,
did.
right.
Yeah, and I think, as parents, I'm even seeing right now in the short time that I've been a parent in these 12 years, I've learned a lot just in these 12 years. So I can
Exactly.
imagine when it gets to 30 and 40 and 50
Exactly.
years
Oh
of
yeah,
being a parent,
yeah,
and then I
yeah.
become a grandparent, I'm
Right,
like,
right.
okay, I see different things that
Uh-huh.
I wish I would have knew back when I was,
Right, right.
25 and
Uh-huh.
28 and 30 years old as
Uh-huh.
a parent,
Right,
and
right.
so yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I
And I
get that.
think with me it's the energy and life and everything has changed, right? So I don't have the energy to be fussing and
Yeah,
fighting with
yeah.
anybody anymore.
You right.
So I'm like, let your mom, do all that spanking and this and that. So yeah, you just come to grandma's house and
Come over here and
yeah.
come have
And
some fun.
yeah. That's what grandparents are for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that make a lot of sense.
Uh-huh.
That makes a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
sense. I want you to tell me about the wealth ministry.
Okay. So I started my YouTube channel talking about really I started talking about credit, but it's
Mhm.
so much involved. So it's just all about wealth.
Mm.
But credit is so important because really that's how we start unless we are millionaires. Credit is leverage, and so oftentimes we get credit mixed up with free money. Well, it's not free. This money has to be paid back. And so I come to find out that credit is this big, game that most of us really don't know the rules to. And when I say a game, I really do mean it's a game. And it's something we were not taught in school. It's so I don't know. It kind of saddens me that I think about my daughter, for instance, who has a couple of master's degrees, but was never taught about credit, investing, none of this stuff in school, and it's stuff they don't teach. And now I really know, and I'm understanding all that's by design. But guess who knows about it? The wealthy. They know about it.
Oh, they know.
So yeah, that's how I started with
Mm.
my wealth channel.
What made you want to do like particularly a YouTube channel?
Well, I just want to get it out to, to the people. I do the Facebook Live as well,
Mm.
but well, my son, he's kind of like my little tech person, and he's like, well, do a channel, do a YouTube channel, and you can put your messages or whatever on that. So that's what
Mm.
started me to doing that. But yeah, I just want to kind of go back to the fact that credit, to just talk about how credit is a game, and if you don't know the rules of the game or any game,
Mm-hmm.
more than likely you're gonna lose the game because you don't know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And in every game there are winners and losers, and we can look at credit the same way. We see some people are winning at that game, and many are losing it. And I was listening at one of the guys. I don't recall his name right now, but I think he's African descent, and he was saying how that um, in a game it's also a time period, and so we have to capture that time period. Had I known the stuff I know now, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because a lot of this stuff I've learned in the last 10 years. And it's really a shame at my age. I'm telling you, 10 years ago or 11 years ago, I might say, a lot of stuff I didn't know that I know today. So
Mm.
just imagine how much further we would be. The verse in the Bible says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Mm.
Um, Sometimes we just don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. And I wondered, and well, how can they do this, and how are they doing that? Well, I didn't know some other things. Now I know, and credit
Mm.
being one of those things. Yeah.
Mm. How do you? How would you say? I know I like that you said the time period.
Mm-hmm.
Within a
Right.
game, there's a
Right.
certain time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the belief that the time is running out for um, money as we know it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Physical finite money.
All right.
The dollar is dying.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that will affect credit in the future? I think last week I just seen that they said that they are no longer going to be in production, producing pennies anymore.
Right.
That's
All
gonna
right.
be
All right.
done for.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then eventually, of course, after the penny, it'll probably
Mm-hmm.
be the nickel and then the
Oh
dime.
yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna get to the point to where they're no longer producing these things, and we will be totally digital,
Mm-hmm.
um, digital currency, which credit has a lot to do with that.
All
I
right.
think.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that affects what we're going where we're going at in the future?
Well, yeah, and like you said, it's already happening. There are some places that don't take money,
Hmm.
cash. They don't take it. And I've heard people say, that's the craziest thing because we're used to money. Oh,
Hmm.
my generation, um, they have all kind of incentives for us not to use money.
Hmm.
Okay, so just talking about the credit card, for instance, if you use your credit card for everyday living, like, the grocery store, because you got to buy groceries, right?
Hmm.
Gas station, you got to buy gas. Maybe if you might have to buy some clothes. Well, you could use cash, but what is the reward for that?
Mm.
But if you use credit, and I'm not talking about a debit card, I'm actually
A
talking
credit
about a
card.
credit card. If you use your credit card, you get reward points.
Mm.
Many people fly all over the world because they use their credit card, and get the reward points.
Mm-hmm.
There's also cash back, and that's how really I've used most of mine, getting the cash back. So when I get cash back, it may be $800, it may be $500, it be whatever it is. I can take that money and I could pay the card, pay the card
Mm-hmm.
off or pay, a portion of it, however I want to do it. Or I could take that cash and I could do whatever
Do
I
whatever
want to
you
do
want.
with it,
Yeah.
right? So why are they doing that? One reason is because, like you say, the money as we know it now is dying. So they have these different ways for you to start buying and purchasing. Also, now of course on your phone, you can have your card and all kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the other
And
apps.
your wallets and
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
yes. So, but let me make this point. I said I'm not talking about debit cards,
Mm-hmm.
because debit cards, they just gonna pull it right out of your checking account,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay because you should have it in there, but you're not gonna get any perks for using it. So why
Mm-hmm.
use it? Why not use your credit card?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so really the debit card is really of no use. Um, so when I talk about credit, I'm talking about things like that. I'm talking about how we have to think like the bank thinks. So the bank always want to get something. They're not gonna loan you $1,000 without getting something back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna take on some interest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hopefully we're getting 0% interest credit cards and paying them off before, that deadline. Because me personally, I don't believe in paying interest, on credit cards. Uh, the bank wants us, they're in business to make money, but we gotta be smart and
Mm-hmm.
think like them. Well, we want to keep our money, or we want to make money. Another thing we do, hopefully we have a savings account, but we put it in, the big box banks like maybe Chase or Bank America, or those kind of banks, when we really should be finding a high yield savings account. So if we have $500 and we take it over to Bank of America, they're going to give us 0.01% interest.
Mm-hmm.
So we might get $2 in a year. So if we take that same $500 and just put in a high yield savings account, well, they're going to pay us about 4.5%. So, we could get, a extra $400. I would
Mm-hmm.
rather get that rather than, $3 or $4.
Mm-hmm.
So again, thinking about our bottom line and thinking like the bank, because the bank always want to make money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we have to do.
So what about the credit challenged
Mm-hmm.
parents out there that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just don't have, the credit is
Right.
messed up.
Right.
They want to rebuild
Right.
the credit, or they just don't even know how to even
Right.
go about that. Like,
Exactly.
how would they get to the point to where they even can go and get, a credit card,
Right.
or because sometimes, you're not eligible for just a regular credit cards. Like, how would you tell them to go about going to get an unsecured or a secured credit
Mm-hmm.
card? Like, which
Okay.
how would the
Right.
credit challenge go about that?
Right. And so that's a good question, because you're right. And I know because I've been there.
Mm,
The reason I know whatever I know about credit is because I've been there. Um, so yeah, one of the first things you can do if you know that your credit is bad, and you're probably gonna be denied, you probably want to. Well, first of all, what I would tell anybody to do is go ahead and pull your credit report so you'll know, what
mm,
it looks like.
yeah.
You're not guessing. And it could be your credit score could be really bad where you'll be denied because it could be errors on it.
Mm.
And, it's like 98% of credit reports have errors on it. So that's one of
Mhm.
the first things you want to do. The errors could be as simple as may not have your correct spelling of your name on it. So it could be
Mm.
somebody else's. Or there could be charges on there that um, been on there longer than the 7 years is allowed.
Mm.
What if you have disputed charges and it haven't been taken off? Um, Another thing about our credit report, it has to be the same across all three bureaus. So you have Equifax, you have TransUnion, and you have Experian. And so if any of the information is different on one of them, then you can challenge that it needs to come off.
Mm.
And that's part of the credit law. Okay, so once you pull your credit and you've done whatever you can to clean up your credit, then you want to go to the bank. Well, first of all, you probably need to try to save a little bit of money. I'll say even $300, and you take that $300 to the bank and you ask them for a secured credit card. And
Mm.
all that means is you're using your own money. So you're going to give the bank the $300 and they're going to give you a little, a card, or a regular card. Nobody's going to know it to only have $300 on it but you.
Mm.
And you take that card and you use it, but you pay them back every month,
Mm.
Um, so what happens a lot of times, we want to hurry and pay off something,
Mm.
but the banks, they're looking at a track record. So if we're paying over time and they know that, okay, well, this person is reliable, they pay every single month. Okay, so let me try to explain that a little better. So if I got this little $300 credit card, first of all, I do need to use it. If I don't
Mhm.
use it, then it's not reporting anything. So I'm
Mhm.
using it. And I probably don't really want to use the $300. With
Mhm.
regular credit cards, you definitely don't, because
Mhm.
it's something called utilization. And we will
Mhm.
always want to stay on the 30% with our utilization. Otherwise, our credit score goes way down.
Mhm.
Preferably 10%. But anyway, with the little secure card, you only got $300 to work with. And I'm just using that number. It
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
1,000. And what I've seen people do, even with that little money, they mess it up. They might go
Mm.
out and they use $300 and they don't pay the people. Know why?
Mm.
Because they say, well, it's my money. They don't see it as it
Yeah.
being a stepping stone to actually build your credit. And so once a payment is missed,
Mm.
they close that card down. And your $300 that you actually put in there, they take that, of course, because they got to pay for whatever. And you
Mhm.
still owe. You don't probably owe the 300, but you're gonna owe probably all kind of charges and fees,
Mhm.
right? So did you help yourself? No. So we have to be very intentional about what we're doing.
Mm.
Building credit, it takes time. And like I said, it's a game. So we got to know, okay, well, I'm doing this for a purpose. So now, once I've had this for maybe 6 months, because now they've seen me pay for month one, month two, three, four, five, six. They know I will pay. So now I could probably go in there. They might give me, you could try $1,000 credit card, and you
Mm.
may not have to have it secured, because they
Mm.
see that, okay, well, this person, now you're not going to go in there if you didn't have any credit and you go from the
To
$300 to,
20,000.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not going to happen. Like I
Yeah.
say, it's, you build over time. And so, yeah, we have to be strategic about it, and take the steps to get
Mm.
to where we want to go.
Be a good steward
Also,
of it.
yeah, also, we can become an authorized user on someone else's card. Like if we have someone, like I always say a grandparent, and the reason I say that because Usually they've had their cards for a long time. Hopefully they're responsible with their card or their credit. So, you know, their credit is not going to be pulled, and then they got all these late charges and all these fees and all that normally. But if you know the person is not responsible, you don't want to get on their card, because the authorized user mean that they actually gonna tag your name to the card. Now, in that instance, if it was me, if I was gonna let somebody get on my card, like maybe one of my children, well, that's fine, but I'm gonna keep the card. So we're just doing that so that we can boost our credit score. Right. And then there's something called other credit builders like Self, and some of these apps you can get on, and you can add your light bill, your electricity bill. If you're paying rent, you can add that, and that's going to boost your score, because you got to pay that every month, whether you like it or not, unless you be homeless. So most people got that. So that's another way you can start to build your credit. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Because I wanted the credit challenge. I'm coming back. I'm about to rebuild. Because 5 years ago we had bought our first house, and we just made a lot of mistakes in that process. And now I'm just back at this point where I'm like, okay, we got to start back building. I got to build back up, and we've done it before. We done it before and built back up to where we were able to buy our first house. So I'm like, in the same way, I know I gotta. I just have to be intentional about everything that I do now. And and it, like you say, it takes time, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Exactly. I promise it's not.
Right.
Because we were homeless for a few months, 2017 back in. From 2018 to 2020, it took us to about 2.5 years to build up, and we took about 3. So I say from January 2018 to September 2020, so about 3 years. We were able to build our credit, build our way back up, being on time, paying the bills, all of that. And we were able to buy our first home.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And so it took, from that point to that point, 3 years to just be consistent, and so it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah. And so we also, it's really a lifestyle, it's we don't, and I've done it. Now I've built up my credit before, being younger, you just, and you want things, and especially coming from my background, you get what you want, and not having patience. So I've built up my credit before and messed it up because I've got everything I wanted. Sometimes you can't do that, So yeah. So again, like we said, being intentional about what you're doing and what you're purchasing and all that kind of stuff. Because with the credit scores, we got the 5 pillars. And so we have payment history. We have we have sometimes I have to try to remember the different ones, but we have the payment history. We have mix of credit. We have our credit length, and we have our how much credit that we already got. Okay. And so, but the first one is payment history, and I always harp on that because we have to pay our bills all the time. We have to pay them every month all the time. And we can't be, I understand things come up. Sometimes you might have to be late, but we have to budget. If we stay on a budget, because we shouldn't be buying stuff that we can't afford. We just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we're using a lot of consumer debt. So we're buying stuff that's not really making us any money.
Mm.
I understand sometimes we have to, and we want to live and have some fun and buy some things, but we still have to have a limit to that, because otherwise we're gonna buy too much stuff and we're not gonna be able to pay for it.
Mm.
And I'm telling you that 35%, that's a big chunk of your credit report, is on payment.
Mm.
And so what they really like to see is 100% payment
Mm-hmm.
across all three bureaus.
Mm.
And they're looking at it over time.
Mm.
So if you paid all your bills 1 month, but 2 or 3 months you've been spotty, that's gonna
Mm.
hurt your credit score. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
That was huge. When we were buying our house, that
Right.
was a huge
Exactly.
thing. That was
Exactly.
one of the biggest things they looked at was
Right.
our
Right.
payment history. And so, yeah,
Exactly.
I can attest to that for sure.
Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. And so one of the other things, once we start building some credit, we want to make sure that we keep our credit, like we have credit cards, we
Mm.
want to keep them open. Even though, say like you got a car payment and you paying it on time, and you had it for 4 or 5 years, so you're done paying for it. You really don't want to close it, because there's something called credit age, and they're looking at how long you've had credit. Now sometimes the company will close it, because as I pull my credit profile, my last car that I bought has been 10 years ago, and they have paid in full, paid as agreed, but it's closed.
Mm.
I didn't ask them to do that, but it's okay because I do have other credit. But when they do that, it actually drops your score. So
Mm.
sometimes you might think, well, if I go ahead and close this card because I'm not using it, or, I've done that before, lots of times, before I knew better. I would close something out because I'm not using it.
Mm.
That's a no no. You just want to keep it open. You could put it away somewhere, put the card away. But if you have a card that you've had for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and it's in good standing, that looks good on your credit report.
Mm.
So, yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's good stuff
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That is some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
what would be your advice, to a parent out there, mom, dad? What would be your greatest piece of advice to them right now if they're trying to start? Um, say they just want to get to the point to where they are um, financially stable. What would be like their first? Like, what's the first step a person should take?
Okay. Well, the first step will be just know that you can do it.
Mm.
Really. Don't say my credit is so messed up and I just, I'm going too far and I can't do it. Just know that you can.
Mm.
And so my first advice would be, once you're serious about building your credit, the first thing really is to pull your credit report.
Mm.
See where you are, because how can you measure something if you don't even know where you are?
Mm.
And once you see, then you know what to work on.
Mm.
There might be some things that can come off. They might even have the wrong address for you.
Mm.
Um, if they have addresses where you used to live, you really should take those off because you no longer live there. Because that is little things that
Mm.
they look at that we don't even know. For instance, say they pull somebody credit and they've lived 10 different places, 8 different places. That make you look unstable.
Mm.
Yeah. And
I don't
so
ever think about that.
yeah, and so when they pull mine, thank God I've been, in my house 30 plus years.
Mm.
That, shows
That's your
stability.
address. Yeah.
Yeah, that shows stability. And so you actually, they looking at you and thinking, okay, well, this person is, is pretty stable. So just different little things. But if you're in a position where right now you really, maybe you're not stable, maybe you do have to stay with family or something, that's okay. You really want to start with a secured credit card.
Mm.
And that's going to be the best way to start if you don't have any, um, positive credit. And also, if like you were saying, that you guys had, a house and some things happen, and that could mess your credit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people, what they'll do, they'll say, well, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna wait because I know in 7 years everything's gonna fall off.
Mm.
That's the wrong thing to do. Don't wait.
Mm.
What you do, you start building
Gotta
credit.
start
You
building.
start
Yeah.
building it, building good credit. And as you build that good credit, that's gonna outweigh that negative stuff that happened, 2 years ago and all that,
Yeah.
because you have all of these positive points of credit now.
Mm.
So yeah, that's something you don't want to wait. So even if you don't have any credit right now and you want to know, well, how would I get started? Start with a secure credit card
Mm.
and start building from there. And once you've paid that off, then you go back. Even if they say they won't give you the next time, more than likely, I'm like 95% sure they'll give you an unsecured once you've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they don't, they're going to give you a high limit on a secured card even.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we have to know is credit is built over time. And that's okay. If we're doing the right thing for, say, 18 months, you're going to be okay, but we're going to just keep it going. And the longer we build positive credit, the better we're going to be. And so then once we start to build, so now we got maybe a $10,000 credit card and we're paying it off and we're keeping our utilization low. Because I tell you what I've seen, firsthand, I've seen this. Somebody have a $10,000 credit card and they go out and they spend up every penny. Well, the bank that issued it, they looking at you crazy. They like, you're not disciplined. You don't know how credit works. You're a risk, And if that's your only card, you probably going to be pretty much in trouble because your utilization is way over 30%. It's at 100%. Okay. And they might even close the card. So you really don't want to do that. But what you do want to do, and this is the point I was going to make. So because you're building now. So since you're building, what you're going to do, you got this $10,000 credit card and you've had it maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Definitely after a year, and you've been paying it regularly, you want to call the credit company or the bank and ask them to increase your limit. They're going to increase it because you're a good customer. You've been paying. So now, instead of having this $10,000 credit card, you probably have 15, maybe 20,000. And every so often you want to do that. And the more credit that you can get, and it's not to go and blow it, and I have to always say that because I'm talking about how people can get credit, but we have to be responsible with it,
Got to.
So yeah, I kind of pause sometimes when I'm saying, well, yeah, but credit really is leverage. So right now, if I don't have $20,000 I could put my hand on, right now, just cash money. But if I got $20 worth of credit and I see, a little building I want to get for a business or whatever, I can use that because
Mhm.
I know that I'm building something positive.
Yeah.
So, but we miss a lot of opportunities
Mm,
when we haven't put ourselves in the position to be
mm,
able to get
mm,
whatever we're seeking.
mm. No, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's good.
So who don't need credit? I might already said this, but millionaires, they don't need credit.
Mm,
They don't need it. They just don't need it.
mm,
Uh, Although they use it
mhm,
because uh, well, the government can't charge, that can't tax borrowed
mm,
money. So that's another thing, you know.
mm.
And that's a whole nother conversation. We won't
Yeah.
get into that right now.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I got one more question
Okay.
for you. Um, if you could sit down the way we're doing right now and talk with the 18-year-old version of Pat and knowing everything that you know right now,
Right.
what would you say to that young woman if you had to give her
Right.
one piece of advice?
Okay. So I would say the world is wide open and everybody knows it. And when I say that, I mean the others. So you got a clean slate. They offer you credit cards, but I would tell you the main thing you need to know, get some education about credit, because just because it's offered don't mean that you know how to use it. I mean,
Mhm.
if I offer you, a gun and you don't know how to, put the safety on it or whatever, it could be dangerous.
Mhm.
So make sure get some education around it. Um, you don't want to go into a credit card or credit with these exorbitant interest rates, because most people can get, now that I'm thinking about it, they have these places, fast cash and all of these
Sheesh.
predatory
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
lenders. So most of the time you can get $500, but why would you do that if you're gonna pay 40% interest, and all kind of crazy interest? Really, what you're doing is digging the hole deeper.
Mhm.
So you just want to really get some education um, around loans and lending and credit and all those kinds of things, so that you'll put yourself in a better position and not a worse position.
Mm. I like that. I love that. I love that. Well, that's some advice that a lot of us can use right now as the
Yeah.
the 18, 20,
Right.
25, 30, 45
Right.
year old
Right.
version of ourselves. That's
Hmm.
some advice that we can all use, and I love that. But tell the people where they can find your YouTube channel.
Okay, so I'm the Wealth Minister on YouTube,
Mhm.
and you can find me there. It's a new YouTube channel, so may not have a lot on there now, but it's you can definitely, there's some information that you can use.
And you said the Wealth Minister.
Right.
The Wealth Minister. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna definitely go on there and
All right.
find you. But hey man, I really, really, really enjoyed this.
Me too.
I really did. I got a lot out of this.
Thank
We gotta
you.
talk some more for sure.
Yeah.
Because this was, I know for somebody like me, I need that. I
Okay.
need I
Uh-huh.
I need some wealth ministry. I
Uh-huh.
need I want to
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get my stuff together.
Right.
So um
It's a process.
yes,
We're
ma'am.
all growing. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Um, and I just appreciate you. Just give me your time, coming on and sitting with us, and a lot of the stuff that you said, around parenting. I just pray, for the people out there that hear this, moms, dads that might listen to this. I just hope that y'all got something out of this as much as I did. And yeah, let's continue to try to be better every day, um, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Let's continue to build ourselves up. You know, everything is a process, so don't become discouraged. Uh, Continue to keep going every day. That's all I can. We can ask from ourselves. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other every day we wake up, and
That's it.
giving everything that you have. So for all my supporters out there, man, I really appreciate all the support. For all those that might see this, I'm gonna say it one more time. Go to YouTube, find this at Dad Can We Talk. I promise it's gonna come up. You can even go to Google and type in Dad Can We Talk. It'll come up. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts at Dad Can We Talk. Um, dadcanwetalk.com is the website. You can find us at all those places. So if you want to reach out to me, you want to hear more stories from others from all over the nation. I done interviewed some people from somewhere everywhere. So if you want to hear more stories, go find us on YouTube, Dad Can We Talk, and support the men and women that have come on and shared their stories. And until next time, it's episode 150. We out of here, baby, with Miss Pat Wiggins. Bang, bang.